All right, so this is all about the documentation. I would go with the documentation thing. Means I have other experience also managing, monitoring, or using the tools and all. So here we'll cover the documentation, what we should be focusing on, what we should be doing, or how we should be doing, what all common mistakes that we do, and we should be avoiding those all. So, as you know, documentation is always very important. So, first thing, see why the documentation is important for ISO 27001. See, ISO 27001 is majorly on the documentation side. The effectiveness is also checked on that, definitely on the basis of your evidences. So there are two parts, documents and records. So let's cover first the documentation, why it is important. See, it is a compliance requirement. So we should have the policies, procedures of all the covered processes whatsoever in your company. So it is mandatory for the audits. And if you go for the certification, it's not needed for going for the certification, but it is always advisable. Maybe you can say we are compliant, but we don't go, people or companies don't go for the certification. They go for the uh, only for that we are compliant, right? So that is a compliance requirement. Next is, say it is an evidence for ISMS. See, all the audits based on the evidences. Like in the court, you have to present the evidence. Here also you need to present the evidence. What you are writing in the policy and what you are implementing or what you are writing in the process, you have to uh, justify that with using the evidence. So that is the effectiveness is checked. So here what you do, risk assessment or whatever the controls you are implementing. Like in my career, in my earlier company, I was there with SAP and handling that, but there we were not using doing the software development, right? So we exclude those controls related to software development. But in my current organization, we are doing it, the software development also. So we have included that. Like, so that is what is the requirement that you have to include the control or it is required, right? See, the ISO or any compliance, they are not only for doing the audit or getting the certification. It is the improvement. So and that is always a continuous improvement. So what is required or we should ensure that whatever the organization goals are there, generally it keeps changing, right? Every year you have some other goal. So we have to be uh, aligned with organizational changes, and that is what is your improvement. Now, accountability, you can understand. I hope you all are into the cybersecurity, information security, or ISO side or SOC side and all. So you would be knowing that roles and responsibilities we need to define, right? So there are implementers, there are internal auditors, or respective stakeholders also for the processes, different processes, say software development or database support or customer support or HR or IT or say other processes, right? So there are other stakeholders. So here it is documentation always uh, help when you define the roles and responsibilities. See, while saying something and giving in writing, that makes a big difference. So what is required? First, you do the documentation, which helps in compliance. And when you are compliant, then you go for the certification. That is the path. Some mandatory controls or mandatory documents around the clauses, right? I'll not cover these all generally are the common for all, say, not only for the 22 version, but it is for the 27001 2013 version also, or 20005 version also, right? 2005 that was there. So that is also means it is required for 27001. So in 2013 and 2022, there are no major changes in the clause side. Major changes are into the control side. So, say clause 4.3 that say ISMS scope is required, that we have to define, and that is around which your ISMS is built, and you go for the certification compliance or so. 5.2, that is information security policy, that is all required. The risk assessment, SOA, that is the base from where everything starts, because in SOA you define what all controls are applicable. Security objectives, see, it is always aligned with your organization objectives, right? So that's what is always required. What like security objectives, I would say one. Uh, First thing is, for an example, like you want to build a culture of security in the organization. So that is where the security objectives and how you are planning to implement that, that comes. Evidence of competence, right? Like if you have a team of GRC team, say governance, risk and compliance team, so how competent they are, or in your software development team, how competent your developers, your managers, or the role you have defined or responsibilities you have given. So that comes into their operational procedure. Again, that's what all procedures or what all controls you have implemented, what processes are there. So you put on the operational side on it. You define that. Incident management, again, in the control ICT readiness for the control that comes. So here you define your policies or procedure of incident management and how you would be responding. That's what the plan that has to be managed there. 9.2, that comes your internal audit. When you go for the certification, then what you do, first thing you need to do a internal audit. Like internal audit and certification is done by external audit, but here the internal audit team, they do the audit, they plan, and I'm not going into the detail of audit, but that when you do the internal audit, the team who knows everything about the company, the processes or infrastructure or everything, so they do the internal audit and they give the report and they help also. So here in 9.2, you go for the internal audit, and that is the report is mandatory. Again, the management review, only this clause is there where ISO has defined the how you will be performing the management review and how you are documenting that, right? That is a record that will come next, but that is there. The structure is there, all the points we have to cover in the minutes of meeting. So that is only place there they say we have to do in this way only. Otherwise, ISO doesn't say what how you need to do. They suggest what you need to do. Then non-conformity, like in internal audit or external audit, if any gaps are there, so here we say it is non-conformities. So we need to document that also. How we will be documenting the non-conformities and their corrective actions. So that is the document, like a template, what we use. Here the records. See, there is a difference in records and documents. Document is policy or procedure, how we will be doing. And records, these are the evidences, what we have done, so that we will be showing, right? So here a mandatory thing, training or skill experience, that 7.2 clause is there, that competence thing, right? So here we do the training to the all the employees or all the workforce, whatsoever is written in the policy. Some companies say, they say we train our employees, and for our third party or our contractors, we don't train, but we depend on our vendors, and we get the certificates or details about the training from them. So that's what is there. This record is mandatory. Again, ISO is on the monitoring and measurement. There is a focus on measurement and monitoring. Different kind of monitoring or measurement in different areas we do. So that measurement report we have to do, like we need to define like how we are say training, like in my company I have measured it like 95% employees must be trained within a year audit period, right, in a year. So that we have to maintain, and that is what is the measurement, that what we have, the culture we have built. In other, like we reduce or security objective, we define that, okay, we have incident response, so the incident must be reduced year by year, say 10%, 20%, so we measure on that way. So that comes here. Internal audit, like I said, internal audit has a program, the plan, the audit happened, and then the result or the report. So here the audit report comes, audit program comes, so that is the record. The report is a record, the plan is your internal audit policy, that is a document, right? Then result of management review, like I said, here this on this clause only, it is mandatory how we need to record the minutes of management review. All 6 or 7 points are there, so that we need to maintain. And on that format only, otherwise you would get a non-conformity. Then corrective actions. So again, in the audit, when we find a gap, so we go for the corrective action form. So in the corrective action form, we write on our document, on our policy or process, and here we document those all. So that becomes a record. Then again, logs. So from IT side, we have a lot of logs. Say firewall, so we will have a log, or incident side, we would have a log, or in your product or in your software, then again there was a log, or change management, then again how you're patching, that the log would be there. So we need to maintain those all event logs or and all. So that comes into the records. See here, again, these are the new controls which are implemented. I'm sure you would be knowing a difference between 2013 and 22 version of ISO 27001. So there were 114 controls. Now here are 93 controls, but it is not reduced. Actually, practically, if you see, they are increase the controls. Only difference is a lot were duplicates, so they merged a lot and they added these all controls. Now, here, if you go for a new, say, a new certification or new implementation, then all these documents you have to maintain, right? If you're going from migration, like 2013 version certified organization is, and when they go for the 22 version of upgrade or migration, then what these all documents, what you have, the existing documents. I'm telling you practically what we have done. My company is a cloud company purely. So we had these all documents. So just need to map and use around the new controls, threat intelligence. Well, every company has the incident management procedure or policy, right? So that helps in say implementing the threat intelligence, information security of use of cloud services. See, not every company has is a cloud company. If you don't have, so you don't include this control. You exclude this control with the reason saying that we don't use the cloud services. Now, here, if you use that, then you would be having a vendor security policy or supplier security policy that covers the cloud. Because when we use, say, GCP or AWS or Azure, they are our vendors, they are our suppliers, and we are using their services, right? So that is where we define that how we will be using what all security measures we have taken, so that that is always documented, and that comes here. If you don't have, then you have to create the cloud security policy or supplier security policy. ICT readiness, that is a business continuity policy. What we in 2013 also it was there. We have to have the business continuity policy, so that is there. Disaster recovery plan or disaster recovery is a part of business continuity, so that helps to use this control. Physical security, I know every company has the physical security thing, the security guards, the cameras, or the access log, or when you have something like if the supplier is there, they are supplying any kind of good, say IT equipments or pantry equipments, and also we maintain the records, maybe electronically or physically, but that comes here. So how we are securing our area, so that is where this comes. So that is added, but it is not is not that big thing. It is all if you have physical security policy or that procedure, then that works here. Configuration management. See, in IT, we define the configurations of different IT equipment. Say laptop. You generally a company always have a certain configuration of a certain laptop, right? For developers, say you have 16 GB RAM or certain say 1 TB hard disk, or say i7 processor, or Mac is there, then Mac 2 or Mac 3, then kind of that. So that is there. All other equipments also, that configuration management. So here we need to define what all configuration we will be using. For new, definitely you have to build. Otherwise, in IT, generally we have the configurations. Information deletion, see, disposal and destruction policy. Everyone has that. Like my company has, we have 853 NIST 853, the framework we follow, but I like ISO 27001 framework. So that is there. So this helps us. Data masking, again, how you do the data masking, like say how you are securing your data. So that is there, like encryption you use, right? So that is there. So that helps in data masking thing. No need to create the separate one. Data leakage, DLP, like Zscaler or MFA one, we use the zero trust policy. So that is there in the data leakage policy. So that is added, and it is always good to maintain that. Monitoring, like always, that is the focus now. So we have to monitor all the activities, how user are logging or what they are doing, or these days it is work from home, so companies are tracking also whether the person is there on the laptop at home or not, or they are using it or not. So that, or other monitoring activities also, network equipments or all. Web filtering, again, that is from the IT side, like you're whitelisting a domain, or you are giving the access, or you are not allowing the access, or say, so that comes into the web filtering. Secure coding, again, companies don't take very seriously to this, but this has come here as specific a different control. Earlier was coding was there, or software development control was there, but now they have added this secured coding. So we have to build that, how we are controlling or what security controls we are putting into software development. And that is generally the IT companies, they ignore because it takes longer time to develop and all. So that is there. So be ready that we have to do this and we have to implement. We have to make understand our software development team to do this. They don't do. They don't like to do. Some best practices, what I would say, I like this ISO 27001 framework. So always use the templates. The standard, we should create the standard templates. Although it is not mentioned here, but in a, if you are 99001 certified or you follow that, then the templates are there. So we need to develop the templates and always use the templates, because that always helps when a person goes. See, no one is there permanently. People move and new person comes. So when you use the template, so it is always make a standard thing. Always use a simple language in your policies or procedures. Never use a very complex thing that easily we should understand. A new person, if they read, they should understand, like access control policy. If you say, or say usage policy, the asset usage policy, or say employees, they don't understand the language, like in the law or legal language, we don't generally understand the contractual language, right? But if we write it simple way, then everyone understands, and that is what is always suggested, that use the simple. And the most important part, or very important part, assign the ownership. See, we are not the SMEs of software development, although I did that, so I know it. But the security person or GRC person, they are not the SMEs, or say database expert, or the network expert, or IT expert and all. So we need to assign the ownership of the document, right? We should be they should be the custodian. Like in risk assessment, what I had done in SAP days, that I was maintaining a organization level risk assessment, or RART document, and the process wise also each department has to define, because organization wise the risk is different, the process wise the risks are different. So that is much easier, and everyone can understand. The SMEs, they understand that, right? Version control, that is the very important part. See, whenever a document is created, so this is an integral part. We have to maintain the version control. Maybe people you don't use the tools, but they use the Excel sheets. Like in my Sybase days, I have done both. Means Excel sheet wise also, and on the tools, the current organization, what we do. So there is a difference in, version control is bit difficult in manual way, but in tool or technological way, it is much easier. But that is mandatory, and that is very much required. Say, I create the document, my director will take the responsibility. He reviews, he suggests, and then he approves that document, because that is a required. Like the GRC head or the security head or CISO, they have to approve the policy. We are just creating, but they are approving. So they have the responsibility what policies we have built, and they are implementing. We are just implementers or creators, right? Storage, again, few documents like SOA. It is a confidential document. We cannot share it with anyone in the company or outside. It is all us. who controls that. So there we need to maintain the access also, and we should be keeping the backup. It is very much required. See, information security runs around confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So always there should be available, but available only to the restricted people or the people who owns that, right, or who required this. So that is where the always we should use the secured storage. Some how we can effectively manage the documentation. Again, we should be reviewing all the documents. See, policies or procedures, it keeps on changing. So we should be reviewing, not necessary every time it will change, but see, organization changes or the environment changes and all, like BCP. Before COVID, we were asked to go to the company, but after COVID, we were using working from home, and now also we are working from home also, right? So there is a change. So we have to review annually, biannually, or any major changes is there. But what I have maintained is we should define the period annually and whenever required. So that statement, if you write, then you are always safe. Whenever you make a change, you change your version, you change your see, version, what you change is only during the major changes, but minor changes or some formatting or something changes you do. So doesn't make sense to change the version, because that is a lot of documentation you are maintaining. And that's where you have the tools which helps. Like repository, we should have the centralized repository. So you can control. If you maintain the documents on your laptop and you are giving the access to various people, it is very difficult to maintain that. So always use a centralized repository. Say SharePoint, Confluence, or some a lot of GRC tools, they help in maintaining the documents. In my company, we use the Confluence. It is very good, and it helps in versioning also. So whatever we change, we can track that also. Who made the changes, who have the access, and all kind of thing. So we can use that. Audit logs, again, whenever you change or access or anything, then we should be tracking that, and that's where these all repositories and all that helps, correct? And employee training, see, whenever we create a document, it is not for us only, it is implemented organization wise to all the employees, all the respective people who are there in the company, or their vendors or suppliers and all. So again, that's where we require that we should be training to the employees. We should build the security culture. It's not only for the audit or only for the certification. If your team members, or if your company, your co-employees, they are not trained, they don't know about the security, then that's where the issue comes. So we should be training also to all the employees, right? What all security culture, what all issues are there, what kind of incident is there, or these days, lot of frauds are there. Even in my company also, from my CEO, people are receiving the SMS. You don't believe that they say, okay, okay, click this link and confirm that you are the employee of this company. And you're sitting in the office, you're working, and you get a message. So that again help uh, make your life difficult. So again, that's where the training helps. People are aware, they use their brain. Technology cannot do everything. So here, the documentation, what you do, you create, then you revise, or you review, then the approval process will be there, then you distribute. Like everything you cannot distribute, but certain things, certain policies that every employee must know. Storage, again, like I said, that is this is the flow chart or workflow, how you manage those all. Some common mistakes generally people do. Say, we don't review, or companies or employees, they don't review the policies. And then we have the outdated policy. Like in my Sybase days, it was manual work was there. My predecessor, they have not reviewed policy for 2 years, and then the auditor also comes, and it was non-conformity. That is the one part. But another thing is, in your environment, when your environment changes and your policy says something else, and now the something else is there, your organization goal is changed, your organization structure is changed. Say when Sybase was there, then it was taken over by SAP, then everything changed. Then we have to review the policy, we have to change the policies, we have to implement some new policies, some new structure. There, uh, companies or people, they avoid doing the review, and then there is an issue. Over complicating, like I said, we should be keeping it simple. No unnecessary documentation. Say what we do, we document. What we don't do, don't document. Like in your practically what I say, like in my Sybase days, we were in support function, right? But we don't do the coding or development, software development, right? Why we should add that control, or we should document that? We don't do so. Just say exclude. It is not mandatory to do that. We can exclude that. So that's where no unnecessary documentation we should not be doing. Ignorance, again, the version control. Say we have reviewed or we have updated the policy, but we didn't do the versioning. In manual work, always it is a missed thing. So always it is use your uh, technology, use the tool or use some SharePoint or something where you can maintain the versions, right? Because what happens is, you have reviewed, so you have save as, and you marked it as, say, information security policy _1. You don't know which one is latest or which one is older, and you don't have the track who changes, what changes are there, and all. So, and we forget, then we would have the conflicting drafts. That is the common mistake people do. Again, the access management, I can say in my Sybase days, what happened is, admin manager, he opened all his drive open to access to everyone, and there's some confidential information was also posted there, and people came to know that. Then some issues happened. So then again, you should have a proper access management, and that's what information security or ISO says, confidentiality, right? So the right access to the right people, authorize access to the right people, because uh, if someone has the admin right, everyone likes to have the admin right on everywhere. We know it, right? So they can make the changes anything, and we don't know how we are doing, who is done, and all. And at the wrong time, we that this comes up, and we have the practical issues. So we should be avoiding that. Some tools I would suggest, like document management, maybe SharePoint, Google Drive. Generally, I don't go for, but it is good for sharing with the team. If you have something that you need to share, so you can easily share with the people. Maybe a read access or write access. That way, that is much easier. Confluence, that I'm very much useful and very fond of, because we use the confluence, and in that, everything that we can control, access, edit rights, or say the version controls and all. So that is very good tool that we can use, and it is available on cloud also. So No need to maintain a server and all. Just get the access, create your documents, and put it there, right? Compliance automation tools. I would recommend Sprinto. We are using in my company, in my current company, Era Technology, we use the Sprinto, and it is very good, very good tool for say small or medium companies. For bigger companies, definitely other tools are there, OneTrust or Venta or Drata, but more or the less, Sprinto is very good. Venta and Drata, they are very much similar, or maybe you would have used, so you would be knowing. A few people have used that, but always advise that use the tools. These are the GRC tools, and that helps always. Say like in current audit cycle, it helped us a lot. Like we don't have to do monitoring or follow up with the people. It automatically does. When we configure, we do that, and we monitor also certain things or certain policies or certain processes. So it helped a lot. Our evidence collection also was very easy. Earlier we had managed the Google Drive, and we have to create a lot of manual work. But in Sprinto or any GRC tool, I would say Sprinto, what I have used extensively. So in that, it was very easy to maintain the evidences. So that helped a lot. Or documents also, right? It can integrate with various a lot of tools. The support team is also good. So I would suggest Sprinto. Again, the see, for approvals, maybe from the tool you can send the reminder, or using the Microsoft Team or Slack, that we can use for approvals. So we use Slack in my company. So Slack is there. We can send the documents on approval, or we can integrate with the GRC tool, and it automatically send a mail also and send a message also. My boss, he doesn't like mail much. He like the Slacks. So this is practically, I'm telling you, not only the documented way or theoretically, but in practically, when you message or when you interact with the people live, so that is always very good. It is makes your life easy, faster. You don't need to follow up much. So that's what is always help. Some To summarize that, align all your documents with 2022 clause or controls, right? Always align your documents with the organization goals, organization objectives, because see, business is there, business objectives are there, business is there, then we are there. This security is there. Otherwise, no one else is there, right? Um, Always assign the ownership. Don't take it everything on your head, because we are not SMEs for everything. Software development is a different part. Database support is a different part. HR is also, although it is a very different thing. IT management, that is again the different. And we are not the SMEs or subject matter expert. We are not the expert. We know few things, but we don't know everything, right? And versioning control, we should enforce, and it is mandatory. We have to maintain that, right? Now, secure, this is all again access control on all the level, not only the document, but all the level. It is always required. So be ready and be do that. Don't avoid it. And training of the employees. See, building the security culture is always important. So we should be documenting the policies, the procedures, and we should be training to the employees. Even in current audit, the auditors also pointed out, right, like every employee must approve the policy. Say they should be telling that, okay, we read the policy and we got this, we know this. And because nowadays it is not the physical audit generally, but it is remote audit. So they don't check with the people, but in physical audits, auditors go to the employees and they ask, like, what is your password? Or say, and there, if the person doesn't know, he's not trained, so he can tell the password also, or he can tell. Generally, this happens in practically it happens. We share the password with our team members, or say some clients are there, like in my other company when I was doing a database administration. One client used to give a common password for all the support, because they had the 24 by 7 support, but they don't give the user base access. So we have to share it. That is a practical thing, but uh, we cannot help on that. But again, that is a risk. So we need to note it down in a risk register, and there we should be accepting, or we should be putting some control to mitigate that. So that's where that comes. So always train your employees, just not for the audit, but building their security, building the information of the company, assets of the company also, that is required, right? So this is uh, all what I wanted to say. And here, maybe don't take it as a training, but I'm telling you the practical thing what I had faced a lot